This session will be in English. Thank you so much, Dona, for being here. It's an honor for us. And well, the stage is yours. I mentioned that you are from Microsoft. You have a lot of experience, and it's wonderful that you are here.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I don't need that. Look at me. I'm good at tech, I swear. Okay, so primero, lo siento, no hablo español, pero entiendo poquito. Okay. So first of all, I would love to say a humongous thank you to Claudia, Guillermo, Gustavo for putting this event on, because 10 years of putting on an event is a lot of work. I'm putting on one event now, our dev conference called Build, and I will never do this again for as long as I live. So can we give a huge round of applause for not just this year, but every year that they have done this? And this year, they're putting on an event like I have never seen before. They're putting on an unconference full of activities. So you all don't feel like an audience. You feel like a part of the conference. And that is a very special day. So I hope you stay all day and experience the magic they have prepared for you. Okay, so I'm going to talk about something near and dear to my heart. Not AI, okay? I would love for you to remember a time before ChatGPT came out, okay? November 30th, 2022. It was a simpler time. We all had real jobs. Do you all remember that, when we could just do a job without a customer or a boss saying, what about AI? Where's AI in this? Does everyone remember this era? Yes. So when ChatGPT came out, I tried it out, of course, like everybody else, and I thought, this is the stupidest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Here's a tool that takes perfectly good code and turns it into a poem? And this is the future of technology. This is what we're all going to bet our businesses on. This makes no sense to me whatsoever. And then something very interesting happened. A few months later, my right hand stopped working. And it was a mix of carpal tunnel, arthritis, and bad posture. Okay, so of course I'm sitting in a meeting with my boss one day, and she said, hey, can you make a slide deck about this AI skilling thing we're gonna go introduce to the world? And in the AI skilling program, we should have a strategy, a roadmap, stakeholder buy-in, etc. And I'm not good at making slide decks anymore because this hand is not working. So I pull up PowerPoint, and to my surprise, in the corner, there's a thing called a Copilot, which is the AI product embedded into Microsoft products. So I dictate into the box, because now I'm using dictation, into the box, and I dictate exactly what she said. Stakeholder buy-in, timeline, this, that, next thing. I dictate 5 things into the box. And then suddenly, PowerPoint has generated 5 slides for me. And these slides are not great, but they're not terrible. It's better than no slides and getting fired, right? Yay, that's good, not fired. And then I could go through and actually fix them and make them a bit more Dona and do all these things. But the point was that I saw a value, and that was my AI moment. And everybody in the world at some point will have their AI aha moment. But we're not all there yet at all. We're still at the era where people are saying strange things, like AI is gonna come take my job, they're gonna come take my business. And worse is a person with AI will come take my job and come take my business. How many of you have heard these things? Everybody, right? And it's annoying, and it's wrong. That's the worst thing, that it's wrong. It's not even accurate, because ultimately, no one actually understands what AI is. And they're making it into this mystical black box of magic. And people say, oh, AI is magic, it's gonna transform your business. And I, as a suspicious test person, say, how? So I went on an expedition, okay? So me, not an AI person, not a machine learning background, I went on an expedition. And now I'm going around the world sharing my learnings with everybody, okay? First of all, AI has been around a long time. We called it predictive AI. This is that weird meme we've all seen, like, is this a blueberry muffin or a chihuahua? You know what I mean? Legs or hot dogs, that thing. You tag a picture, you're like, blueberry muffin, chihuahua, fried chicken or golden doodle, right? We've all done this meme. And the concept of AI built on machine learning, you train models to say, this is fried chicken, this is a dog, this is fried chicken, this is a dog. You show a new picture and it tells you fried chicken or dog. That has been around for 20-something years. And it's kind of boring, honestly. It's boring and basic and didn't do anything. So the big drama is that we now are relying on this big fancy autocomplete thing in our businesses. But I want to show you why generative AI, not predictive AI, which has been around a long time, generative AI is causing all this chaos in our industry. So generative AI is a subset of AI that's causing all of our businesses to rethink their existence, okay? So what is generative AI anyway? It's based on a thing called a GPT, Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Generative means it creates new things. It doesn't just predict what is this, it generates a new thing. So from Chihuahua or Blueberry Muffin, it would create a new Chihuahua and a new muffin. It wouldn't just identify, oh, this is a muffin or this is a Chihuahua. It generates. Pre-trained means it was trained offline. It's not grabbing your data in real time and training you a new model. That's not happening. It was trained 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 9 months ago, 2 years ago. Training models is very expensive. And the third one, it's based on a thing called a transformer, which is a kind of neural network that just says what's nearest to me in words in a data set. So to explain this, I think what we need is a really good visual, okay? And when I understood that showing with a visual makes sense to people, that's when things start to get very real for me. So imagine an input string, okay? So basic string, we go to work by train. What a large language model does, LLM that we keep hearing about, is it tokenizes it. So what is a token? We keep hearing about tokens. 4,000 tokens is for peasants. Now we have 1 million tokens. What is a token? Token is a chunk of characters. Think of it like a syllable, like 4 characters, 5 characters, something like that. So the LLM will take in a string and tokenize it, break it into chunks of characters. It has no idea that these are words. The word anthropomorphization, which means don't give human characteristics to a non-human object, will have 7 tokens. Each of these just happens to have 1 token. Cool. So what the language model now does is go into the data set that was trained offline over here, and it says what words are nearest to the words in the data set. So let's look at the word work. In the data set it was trained on, offline, a bunch of words are near it. Downtown, office, hard, all of these things. These are near the word work. Then it's going to create a set of words that are not near the word work. So not near the word work will be dove, zebra, polka, atmosphere, etc. So we've got one set of words that are near the word and one set of words that are not near the word. And using it, it'll create a thing called an embedding. And the word work will have a very specific embedding with values attached to each. And the closer the word is, the closer it will be. So once we have a series of embeddings for various words, we're going to be able to say what words are related and what should show up in a response. So for example, if I ask a question about the sea, a large language model will probably give me responses for an ocean as well, because the embeddings look similar. Because the words near the word sea and the words near the words ocean in the data set will be very similar. It'll be swimming, beautiful, day, tropical, vacation. Football and soccer, very near each other. Here it means the same thing. In the US, it does not mean the same thing. I and we, very similar. But the words that are near sea and the words that are near ocean probably won't be the same. So once you see that, oh, generally the LLM is outputting things that are near the words in the data set, it all starts to make sense. So this concept is called semantic search. How many of you have heard that term, semantic search? And everybody, it's a machine learning term. Everyone throws it around acting like it's a normal word. It's not. And just so you know, none of these words used to be normal until November 30th. It just didn't used to be part of mainstream vocabulary. Everyone's acting like, oh, you're so stupid, you don't know what this word means. No, you're not. These aren't real words. They're machine learning people words that they made up, and they've been using for 20 years. But all of us normal people suddenly have to figure this out. So what semantic means is near, similar to. So think of it like that. Semantic is similar to. Now, if say you have a document, it says Obama speaks to the media. Semantic search would say the president greets the press in Chicago, would be very similar. So if you're doing a semantic search, you would get a result like this back. The opposite of semantic search is what we're used to, called keyword search. This is your control F, find exact words. And this is why people are saying search engines are not as good as generative AI, because it brings you the exact results you're looking for versus things that are vaguely similar. The real magic is both, because you need the magic of semantic, but the current status of the internet. So together, you actually get a useful AI product. The other thing that makes AI actually kind of useful is a thing called retrieval augmented generation, RAG. A lot of people act like, again, this is some common thing. You should not know what that is unless you work in machine learning. Retrieval augmented generation just means that you're using your own data and you're using your own input. So this is where you upload your own file to a language model like ChatGPT or whatever and say, bring me 10 insights from this document for lawyers. This is much more relevant than write me an article for lawyers based on wikipedia.com, right? No. Once you give it your own data, it prioritizes your data. It layers it on top and says, really focus on this data, use the magic, air quotes, of the LLM to stitch things together that are similar. But retrieval augmented generation is the secret sauce to making AI actually useful for you and your business. So what does this all mean? What does it mean for the workplace? What it means for the workplace is that there's a set of things AI can do and a set of things that people want. And there's a little bit of an intersection. Unlike what the media would have you believe, AI cannot do your job for you. No, that is just not true. There are 3 things that studies are showing that AI can do that we actually kind of like. One is producing, let's not say high quality, producing work in half the time. I showed you with my PowerPoint example, it was able to give me a starter PowerPoint pretty quickly. That's good. The second thing that it can kind of do is be able to help me learn a skill twice as fast. And I honestly was able to learn machine learning because of AI, much faster than I would have trying to go to school now for 4 years. And the third one was doing my meetings for me. I hate meetings so much, more than anyone in the universe. So the fact that AI can now go to my meetings while I've been here, eating empanadas and walking on the beach this week, I don't hate that for me. This is what AI is for. It's to do my meetings while I'm enjoying life with all of you. Thank you. So these are the 3 things that AI is actually doing kind of good. Everything else is nonsense, honestly. AI is making my movies, generating my music, making images. That technology is total crap right now. And honestly, we don't really need it. We don't need it in this life. What we need is AI to do boring things so we can live better lives. So the point of AI is, as you talk about it, and you all know this because you're so smart and you're so technical, is that it starts you with something. You don't start with a blank page anymore. It starts you with something that you can now evolve and grow. So instead of starting at the very, very beginning, you start in the middle. And then you can now be editors rather than creators from scratch. If you like creating PowerPoints from scratch, please keep doing it. I do not. But if you like to be in the edit mode, that's kind of helpful. The way I think about AI is it's your boss's nephew who you got stuck hiring. Does everyone understand this concept? Okay, good. You know how everyone's like, yeah, this kid's a genius. They went to an Ivy League school. You should hire them. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to have to hire this person. I'm going to have to give them some stuff to do. Not mission critical, but make them feel important. Those are the tasks you give AI. Those are the tasks. You don't give them your mission critical work. You always check their work because they're smart, but not that smart, right? They're not as smart as they think. Okay, so let's talk about work environment and work life. Our work environment for a long time, back in a time called the 90s, which most of you were not alive then, used to be in a place called an office. And we would go to the office and work in this time called 9 to 5. And then we decided to brilliantly invent the internet and email. And suddenly we're doing email at night. Why are we doing email at night? I do not know why we decide to suddenly do that as a society. And then, of course, the pandemic shows up and says, no, you will not just do email at night. You're going to do it on weekends. You're going to do it the middle of the night. You're going to do it in the morning. You're going to do it all the time. And our work went from synchronous in an office to asynchronous to everywhere. But now, with AI, we're going to claw it back. We're saying, no, we're not done. It's a big shift in how we worked. Pandemic made us work all the time. You still are somehow working all the time. So in the era of AI, we're going to reclaim it. And we're going to reclaim it back with giving us a knowledge shortcut. Okay? So the knowledge we've had for the past X many years, 50 years, has been through humans. It's been, hey, I know this information. I know this one dude who knows this information. I looked it up on the site. It's human labor. It's a lot of human labor. But in this era of AI, when our space can be wherever we want it to be, in an office or in Uruguay, it can be wherever you want it to be, first thing in the morning or late at night, or it can be knowledge, where you used to be able to get knowledge only from people, but now you can get that knowledge from AI in the same amount of time. So because we're able to get knowledge and get intelligence at our convenience now, we can do this work faster. But it's really important that you don't quantify it that way. One of the things I'm seeing people do is charge by the hour. Stop charging by the hour, because you're gonna charge less. Don't put, oh, this work is done with AI on things, because people value it less. They're saying, oh, you didn't need to do any labor at all, so you shouldn't be charging for this. So what I'd love for everyone to do is start charging by value. We will deliver this project to you, not by the hour. And dear lawyer friends or people who support lawyers, you are front lines of this. I do not care about your billable hours. What I care about is the project you deliver for people. So don't undervalue your work by saying, oh, it's all done by AI, I'm so efficient, look at me. People don't value that at all. They're gonna value that far less than human effort and input. So one of the things that's happening in the workplace are people who are using AI are now outperforming people who are not using AI. And that does make sense. This was a study by Boston Consulting Group. You can look it up. It's a ginormous PDF that shows that consultants, same job, the ones who used AI and ones who didn't use AI, the ones who used it had 40% higher quality work and 20% faster work. Now imagine who's going to get promoted, who's going to get better jobs, et cetera. But this is also true for managers, where if you only provide half of your workforce with AI, you're going to create a digital inequity. That's not going away. And that's why I'm here in South America talking about this, because only people in the US shouldn't be using AI. All of you should be doing it too, where it makes sense, not for every single case in the world. And the scenarios where it makes sense here in Latin America will be very different than the US, will be very different than Europe, will be different than Asia. So everyone gets freaked out, like, oh, I don't want to give this thing all my info. I said, get an enterprise version and think of it as a calculator. You're not worried about your calculator stealing your finance data. You are unconcerned about this. So you should be unconcerned about your enterprise grade AI product. I do not care which one it is. You can buy whatever you want. Enterprise grade means you copy a version onto your local company and it works for you. It's a calculator for words, images, et cetera, to help you do work better. That's all. It's not replacing you. Your calculators have never replaced a tax accountant. No. Okay, so what does this mean for you, beautiful software engineers, testers, et cetera? I had the exact same question. I'm like, I don't care about AI. What does it have to do with me? Here is something hilarious. Software testing, software quality is what AI is based on. AI is mostly this. So I actually had to go learn machine learning, and I thought, oh my God, this is software testing. You gather up a bunch of images. Is this image what we decided what it is? Is this text string what it is? Yes or no? So the entire process of triaging your data set is testing. Is your data correct? Yes or no? Is this familiar to anyone? Yes, I know. What a pain in the neck this is, right? Yes. Without this, you get crap data and horrible AI products. This is testing activity. Next step, training a model. This is a dog, this is a cat, this is a dog, this is a cat. Guess what this is? A testing activity. Product development, fine. But once you train a model, you ask the model a question, dog, cat, and it gives you an output, and you say, no, intern from last summer, that is wrong. Guess what that is? They have a fancy word for it. Ready for this? Reinforcement learning human feedback. We call it testing, but go on. With reinforcement learning human feedback, okay? This is how you get paid $50,000 more per project. You're like, I'm not doing testing. I am reinforcement learning human feedbacking this AI model. Just means is your AI model crap or not. That's all it means. Okay. Product development's product development. We argue about it all day. And then comes the final part that companies love to skip. And then you have disasters like Gemini. Remember last month? Big mess because they didn't do this last part. Validate the AI product. Did you run even 5 test cases against it before you decide to ship it out the door? And the answer is no. Why? Because no one's going to care. We tested the basic happy path. It worked amazing. I'm like, oh my God, you're going to be in a world of pain, right? Every company has gotten bit by this year. Everyone's AI model is outputting strange things. Why? Because they didn't do the testing of the results. So once I learned the entire AI verse is mostly testing, I'm thinking I'm going to hit up every testing organizer I know and go tell them, Let's start changing the words on your resumes. Let's start getting paid lots and lots and lots of money, because that is legitly what you're doing. The mindset you've curated for months and decades and years is now real useful in this very, very shiny thing, and everyone knows it now. So let's talk about this. CEOs think there's a huge skills gap. And you all are laughing because you're like, I can do this in my sleep. I'm like, of course you can do this in your sleep. You've been doing it for so long, and you've been arguing with people for so long about it. People can learn this stuff. This is from an Accenture study. You can look this up. 32% of leaders think that, oh, we're ready. But 82% of you are like, of course I can figure this out. So the key is now to actually practice in the wild, is to not question yourself, to not imposter syndrome about it, is to say, I already have the basic skills. I just need to learn the terminology. I need to learn a few technical tweaks, and I'm in the business, okay? You are all in the business of AI, and you have been forever. And I do believe that everyone has a role to play in the AI verse, and I mean everyone who wants to. And I'd love for you to identify which one of these you are. So are there any actual machine learning people in this audience who I keep making fun of? There's going to be some nerd over here. Yeah, okay, one nerd. Sorry, but it's true. Your field is so strange. These words you make up. I took machine learning in college, and then I promptly dropped it because it was so boring, because I don't care about blueberry muffins and chihuahuas. The key there, their job is to train the model, fine-tune the model, document the model. I recommend everybody actually take Stanford's free course. It's on deeplearning.ai. You can find it, this machine learning specialization. Just take it. It'll help you learn all the terms, because then people throw around these terms like supervised, unsupervised, this, that. You know what they're talking about. I'm not saying go start training models. It's an expensive activity. But learn how it's done, because then you'll understand, actually, I already know how to do all of this stuff in my sleep. So that's one thing. Second part is, of course, the problem expert. In this picture, I'm with my friend Patricio in Colombia. He was a mountain biker. He is a mountain biker. He hit a root, flipped over the handlebars, and is paralyzed from the neck down. So we have intense conversations around how he uses AI to run his business, which is graphic design. He uses a head mouse because he is paralyzed. And he says, the thing I need from you and your little AI copilot thingy, I'm like, tell me all about the AI copilot thing. He said, I need it to be bilingual, and I need it to switch without me having to switch. And I said, oh, that's interesting. He said, so I want to hablar en español con el copilot, and I needed to hablar back in español. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And he said, but I want to switch to English whenever I want. And I said, oh, that makes sense for most of the world, other than the US, who don't know how to speak anything, right? That's just true. So the thing about experts in the problem, which is most of you and the people you work with, you know the problem, you know the solution, you know the ideal and acceptable things. For this, it's really putting down metrics around AI. We're using AI now because it will get us this goal. Very specific. By doing this work, we have X much improvement. Third set of people, this is probably a bunch of you, data people. How many of you are data people? You love use some charts and graphs. Yep, there's some data people in here. I like how you're not raising your hand because you're embarrassed, but I know you are. You love use some charts and graphs. You think in charts, you think in graphs. Without data visualization, you cannot function in the mornings. I got you. You're in the business. You're going to be employed for the rest of your life. You're going to wish you could retire. You can't. Because without good data, you have no AI. Forget bad AI, you don't have any. Those data sources are so bad in the world that you try to reason over, because first, they're old. Second, they're inaccurate. Third, they're insecure. So suddenly, the data you're creating is available to everybody in your company. Does that need to be that way? Probably not. Is it even right? We don't know. How do you validate it? No one knows. It's very mysterious to people how to have good data. But without good data, your AI results are totally terrible, and everyone's yelling at you. The AI sucks. You're like, I think your data sucks. See the first step, retrieval augmented generation, right? So the big homework is learn all the tools that exist in this space to sort data, secure data, missing data, blah. There's a million tools out there. Whatever it is that works for you, do it. But this is the next generation of people who are going to make lots and lots and lots of money and a lot of impact. The fourth category is the product developer. And this is where I squarely fall. I've just made products for 20 years, so suddenly I'm having to learn about all these things. It makes me anxious. Don't like that. But the key thing here is try all the things. If you're building a product that uses AI or whatever it is, before you go say, oh, I want to build my own models, do all the things. Meta prompt, which means mess with the prompt box and give the system a better message. Retrieval augmented generation, give it better files. Do plugins, connect to this data source or that data source. Before you decide, hey, I'm going to fine tune a model, meaning build a model from scratch, or I'm going to go build my own model. Think about your life choices, because as soon as you're building an AI model, you've got new problems, okay? And then the fifth role that you're all going to love is called the validator. Now, you're going to see the funniest job postings show up. I'm already seeing it in the US. That means it's going to happen here within a few months. They have the strangest titles. Red teamer, which we stole from security, blatantly stole the term. IT admin, tester, validator, insider, AI operator. Like, they've got just the strangest terms. So the big thing here is they're going to make sure that AI does not have strange biases, which it of course has strange biases. The goal is to document them, and you know what the biases are. Then is to figure out who should even get it. Not everybody needs the finance copilot thing. No. Third one is teaches people to use. You're going to spend the rest of your life in that third category, which is teaching people to use. And I will tell you a funny story. I built an AI product for the legal team at Microsoft. It was to do accessibility work, because I worked in accessibility for 2 years. So I built a copilot saying like, okay, what accessible products are available to people? Fine. I thought, cool, I'm gonna build it, I'll roll it out, I'll write like a little guidance and move on with my life. First, getting the documentation together to actually train the model took 6 months. That was terrible. I said, oh, we need to do better at data, we're terrible, bad. Building the product took like a week. Teaching people to use it, I thought, oh, I'll just roll out this wiki and we move on with our lives. I am so dumb. Okay. They still don't use it. It's been a year. It's been a year. They're like, I don't know what to put in the box. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what to put in the box? Put words in the box. They're like, what words do I put in the box? No one knows what words to put in the box. If you have to take away one thing from this, no one knows what words to put in the box. No one. No one. Your parents don't know, your boss don't know, your customers don't know, no one knows. The best thing you can do is tell them which words to put into the box, okay? Make a prompt library, make a skilling program. And I'm not kidding, what I had to do was schedule a lunch and learn and say, everyone, open the Copilot thing, write these words. I'm typing them into the chat. I want you to copy them into the Copilot and hit enter. And they say, we're not doing it. I said, no, you're doing it. So I said, I want to see everyone's screens once they do it. Okay, everyone went around the room, did a screen share, showed, they got results, and they said, oh, actually, that's kind of good. Actually, that's kind of good. Okay. And one guy, very critical, says, it's not the worst thing you've made. High praise right there. It's not the worst thing you've made. Okay. But after that lunch and learn, where I taught everyone to put words into the box and which words to put into the box, they started using it. It legitly took step-by-step teaching them. So just rolling out a prompt library and a skilling program is not going to do anything for you in this lifetime. You're going to have to sit with people and make them type words into the box and have them evolve them for their business. It is a whole new paradigm. No one is going to do this. I wish they were. They're not going to. I'm just telling you now. Okay. So any of you security people? Got a few? Yep. Reluctantly hand raisers. Of course security people aren't going to disclose it. Good job. Good test. You passed. You're going to be very busy because AI security is a huge issue, right? People can hack AI so easily, prompt injection, this, that, next thing. This is where I'm spending all my time now, is learning AI security. And man, it is a complicated field, because forget stopping normal hackers, stopping AI hackers, we don't even know what we're doing. So just thinking about like secure access, secure data, secure code, it's very complicated. I learn from my colleague Rod Trent every day. He keeps writing books and blogs, and I can't even keep up, but this is going to be a huge topic for everybody. So just start wrapping your heads around it, because it will be important to you. Okay, so when you think about business, right, people ask, where do you put AI in your business? Do you do it for everything? And I say, absolutely not. Don't do it. I run a fashion company on the side. Okay. Yeah. And the parts of it I like are customer talking to customers, customer talking, okay, talking to customers, designing things, and customer service. I do not like any of the other parts. I don't like filling out forms, order processing, all of this. So I actually wrote down all the steps of my business, and then I used AI to do the parts I hate, because that's the point of AI, right? intern from last summer gets the sucky parts. I get the good parts because I'm a business owner. That's how you run a business like a grown-up. Right? So that's what I recommend you do, is really list the parts of your job or your business and figure out where you want to apply AI. Don't do it in more than 3 places. You will lose your mind. Okay, so one thing that's been interesting, everyone's saying, oh, jobs are going away because of AI. And I ask, which jobs? And they say, oh, I heard about a guy whose job disappeared. I say, which guy? What job? Or did it disappear because it just wasn't really a job? I used to update Windows with disks. Does anyone know what disks are? I know. I used to do that. That used to be my job. Thank God it's not my job anymore. A lot of the jobs you used to do, you don't do anymore. And that's a good thing. So there's a study on Bloomberry that everyone should look at if you care, that shows which jobs have gone away since the AI-verse, since ChatGPT came on. And it turns out there's 3 categories of jobs that people have stopped hiring for, and every other category went up. So the 3 categories are: 1, translation, which makes sense. It's a very binary thing. 2, ghostwriting, so writing bad copy for me. That's gone away. And the third one is customer service is dropping. Now, customer service, companies who are doing this are going to get bit because you get disasters. Like, oh, you're selling a Chevy Tahoe for $1, like getting sued by this company because you're doing terrible customer service. I would never replace my customer service with AI because that's a touch point with humans where people have a chance to get to know you and love you. Anytime you're replacing customer engagement with AI, something has gone very wrong. Replace back office nonsense with AI, not customer engagement. So one of the things that you're all going to see is, do your job with AI job postings are going to show up. So these designers or these companies are hiring UX people who have mid-journey skills. They're saying, I want you to run our, social media campaign using Mid-Journey. We have a subscription. We want you to use it. It can go on for 6 months. And this isn't just do this for a week, give us the stuff and leave. Bosses don't actually want to learn to use AI tools. They want you to learn to use AI tools. They're not trying to replace you. They're trying to make you do work using these tools in a different kind of way. So the thing that'll benefit you actually is to learn to use AI tools and put that on your resume. Don't say I'm a UX designer. Say I'm a UX designer who knows how to use this tool. Okay, so let's talk about jobs. So this is a global study I did just like a month ago. I looked at jobs in LinkedIn. Okay, so it's LinkedIn. It's not like the best end-all be-all of job studies, but it'll give you a good idea. Looking for jobs with AI in the title or the body mentioned prevalently 30,000 open jobs worldwide, okay, in a random single day. Predictably, many of them were in the US, but they're all over the world. Some countries that really surprised me. Japan did not surprise me. India didn't surprise me. Germany, I'm like, Germany? Usually they won't argue. They're like, no, we're not doing it, data, blah, blah. They jumped on this wagon so fast. France, I'm not surprised by because they made Mistral. They're also doing a lot of stuff with Hugging Face. So I wasn't surprised by France. But a lot of these countries, I was surprised by, like, good job on you, Canada, Poland. These are not countries you think of that are adopting technology first. But you're all asking, what about LATAM? What about LATAM? Okay, there needs to be more jobs than 1,000 jobs. Okay, let's all agree. Out of the 30,000 that are open, LATAM definitely represents more than 1 in 30. So your companies are going to figure it out. Again, this is from last week. That means in 6 months, you're going to have a lot of open jobs. So AI in the job title, okay? And the distribution is predictably Brazil, just population, Mexico, Argentina, Colombia, Costa Rica, Suriname. Suriname? What's going on? What? I'm like, where's that? Look it up, tiny country. Yeah, must go right now. Who is hiring? I want to talk to you. I have questions. Peru, El Salvador, Guatemala, Uruguay, Venezuela, all of you representing, but representing across the board. This is pretty dang good. And this is on LinkedIn, where I know that's not the #1 place to look for jobs. But representing Latin America, things are going well. That means in 6 months, you're going to have 30,000 jobs open. And that means all of you are going to be expected to know what in the heck is going on in the AI-verse for real. Okay? So it's coming at us already. Now, the job requirements are just nonsense. Everyone's saying, I want a bachelor's degree in computer science, master's degree in machine learning preferred. And I just laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh because I'm like, my friend, if If you have a bachelor's degree in computer science with a PhD in machine learning, you ain't looking for a job right now. You're not looking for a job right now. So what companies are going to have to do, this is what we're saying in the US. People are like, oh, do you know anyone like this? I say, why would I know someone who's looking for a job right now? They have 10 jobs. They probably have more jobs they're going to do in this lifetime. Instead, companies are going to have to upskill. And they're going to have to upskill with your help. This is where you need to learn all of this stuff yesterday and start teaching other people. Because the shift is coming. You can see that LATAM's going to be demanding these things. It's April, by September, October. So we've got a beautiful few months to get prepared before that reality of every company looking for a very interesting job title comes across. So I want to show you these training AI jobs that exist now. Chatbot trainer, generative AI associate. What weird jobs? Who the heck would have hired a chatbot trainer 2 years ago? Nobody. This is like a random company who just makes chatbots. That's all. They make chatbots for businesses. This is a law firm. And they're saying, like, we actually need no skills whatsoever. You need to know native English. That's all. And tell us, is our chatbot doing goofy things or not doing goofy things? Sounds like testing to me. You know, create a rule book, prompt library. Analyze, improve the grammar. Reinforcement, feedback, human learning, whatever it's called, right? That's all. It's just testing words said in like fancy machine learning terms. Okay. So some notes from, if you want to follow this job study, follow Joe Camp he's on my team on LinkedIn. He does these polls like once every 2 weeks or so. But companies are scrambling to fill jobs. We're scrambled to fill jobs. It's full-on arms race to hire technology experts right now. People are making money that is obscene money. And it's once in every 2 decades thing that it happens, right? So humongous opportunities for people to get skilled up and do stuff. Now, the US Justice Department got a chief AI officer. And I'm not kidding, it's some random guy who's a professor. It's not even like a real person who's done this. It's a guy who wrote about AI once. We're like, who? And now every department in the US is required to have a chief AI officer. And they're running around sending email to everyone they know who fixed their printer once, saying like, do you want to be a chief AI officer? They're like, what's that? We're like, you're good at printers, right? I'm sure you can AI some stuff. But it's mandatory. And if the US is doing this, guess who's going to do it? Everyone's going to do it. It's going to be a disaster. So it's best that people who have a clue go and get these jobs, okay? People are in my LinkedIn asking me to be their chief AI officer for the strangest companies you've ever heard of. Like the mom and pop wonton shop down the street. It's like, do you want to be our AI transformation person? And I'm like, you have 2 employees. What are you thinking? Okay, but chief AI officer is apparently a real job now. Look it up, look it up. You're gonna laugh, these people, by the way, last year their job was dev. I'm not kidding, it was dev. Or like marketing guy. It was not, they were not AI person last year, but all these people. Okay, so 5 trends. I talk about these all day, I'm not gonna harp on them. 1, we've been talking about LLMs. Next will be frontier models, giant. Vision, this, that, next thing, they're gonna do everything. Make movies, make songs, you know, make lunch for you. You don't need the giant frontier model all the time, it's going to be expensive. Use the model you need to use. SLMs, small language models, they're gonna be the new hotness because they can run locally, okay? So that'll be the next thing. Bring your own data, third-party data sources. You know anytime there's bring your own data, you're gonna have terrible data. Prepare yourselves. Third thing, upskilling prompt libraries, etc. I'm spending all my life doing this. At our dev conference, my team and I are unveiling a thing called Copilot. Used to be called Copilot College, because that's a good name. But marketing made us change it to Copilot Learning Hub, because that's a bad name. And marketing doesn't like fun things, so Copilot Learning Hub. Okay. You all should make an AI learning hub for your business. Not kidding, you should just do it. Now, the next step of, we went from AI to chatbots, next will be agents. Agents. And you're gonna thrive in the era of agents, because agents are just large language models, plus automation and memory, okay? And all of you know what automation is. Most of the world does not know what automation is. So the fact that you already have automation tools that you can lean on and use is an amazing superpower. And then the last thing to keep in mind is growth mindset, because things are going to get real weird. I would love for everyone to remember that we're only in year 2, okay? Nokia flip phone era, okay? That's it. We're not the car phone era, where it costs $100 to make a phone call. And we're not at the iPhone era, where everyone's using it all the time. You can't live without it. No. Nokia flip phone era. It does 3 things. Your LLM does 3 things. It's your intern from last summer. It's not your can't live without assistant. Okay? And second, this feels weird because we're all in the innovator category. We're having to make up design principles. We're having to make up prompt libraries. Everyone's asking us, and we have nothing to refer to. We can't say, like, yeah, just take this course. What's wrong with you? It doesn't exist. This is such a moment for us to be innovators, and it feels strange because we only hit this once in 20 years. So what I'd love for you to do is take a picture of the slide right here and challenge yourself. Figure out where you want to be in 3 months, okay? Figure out where you are today, figure out where you want to be in 3 months, because I can tell you that your companies, your customers are going to demand that you go up through these ranks. Not everyone needs to build and train a model, but I'm pretty sure every single person is going to have to adopt an AI product and use it daily, weekly for specific tasks. Thank you so much for all of your time. We actually have 9 minutes for questions. Do we have any questions or no? Want me to give you more homework? Oh, we have a question. Right here.
Damian from Argentina. Great talk. Very optimistic, but great talk. I really like it. So my question is, because I'm in level 1 right now, trying to test a mobile app with AI tools. I'm failing because nothing works fine with Xcode. What is your best advice to start working? Okay, I need to start from scratch and making my own tool. Where I should start? Because especially people that don't use automation tools, we are now way behind.
Okay, so that's a good question. So the question is, right now the existing tools that exist don't work for me. What do you recommend I do? First, I recommend you don't start doing your core job with AI, right? Because you don't want to start saying, how do I replace myself? No, don't start with that. Start with, how do I do parts of my job, right? So think about, okay, one part that no one likes is technical documentation. Can you use AI to write technical documentation on your behalf? And the answer is probably yes, because language models are good at generating language, right? Again, what you need from technical documentation is to say, this is my code, can you write me a 1-page spec or a technical page about what this code actually does? Or can you generate me 10 test cases and tell me the output? So don't try to do your core testing with AI or your core job, but think about how to do all those side things that are more annoying. That's what I would do personally. Yeah. Others?
Okay. So you mentioned prompt libraries.
Yes.
How can I make one?
That's a very good question. Okay. So you can build your own product to make a prompt library, or you could just make one in like Excel, which is how I made all of mine. I made basic one in Excel saying, here's the tool, here's the prompt, here's the output, this is a good output, and here's who should use it. Because you're going to make different prompt libraries for different people, right? For lawyers, it's going to be this set of prompts. For finance people, it can be this set of prompts. Now, there's no great tool in the world to make prompt libraries, which sounds like a very good business for someone to create, maybe, in this room. But you'd be shocked at how, in the gold rush we're in, no one is making shovels. Everyone's trying to make gold. We're like, you can just make shovels. So right now, I think Excel or any sort of spreadsheet type thing is probably the best tool because everyone knows how to use it. As soon as you're in the business of learning to use a tool, it's complicated. But the next generation of AI tools will make it so hopefully prompt libraries are just a part of the tool. So you click on it and say, what are some sample prompts? And you'll get some sample prompts to use. But we're not there. So I recommend you use anything you're familiar with. Something that is shareable with others that you're okay sharing with. So it could be like a downloadable PDF just on your website. That's a good question, thank you. Others? Okay, I have more homework if no one has questions. Your country person, Juan Lavista Perez, do you all know who that is? So he's the chief data scientist of Microsoft. He's from Uruguay. He wrote a fantastic book called AI for Good. And it talks about the uses of AI that are actually going kind of well in this world. I talk about gloom and doom and software engineering and the end of days. He's like, and here's the people it's helping. So as a counterpoint, you actually should read his book. It's very well done. He actually joined Microsoft in 2012 and worked on the experimentation engine that all of this is built on. So he's been working on this for a solid 12 years. And he's a lovely man. And I'm trying to convince him to get down here and come and speak to you.
Thank you, Dona. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.